So the biggest thing about getting your baby to sleep through the night is not getting them attached to the feeding to sleep method. This is the easiest way to get your baby to sleep, but it's the worst way to make your baby sleep through the night and stay asleep. Because every time that baby wakes up, if it's not hungry, it still will want to feed so that it goes to sleep and can get back to sleep. If you teach your baby to eat, play, sleep, it will be able to go to sleep on its own in the middle of the night. I am going to help you sleep through the night and get your baby to sleep through the night. So if you're in dire need of sleep and you just want to know how to get your baby to sleep through the night, then just keep watching. So I have been there. I have had no sleep for like 6 months, had no schedule, and just felt like everything was out of control and I couldn't get my baby to sleep through the night. They would be latched to me, and every time I took them off, they'd wake up. I have had to bounce my baby to sleep. I've had to sleep upright with my baby, and that's never a good idea. So these tips I'm gonna give you are gonna help your baby sleep through the night. And sleep is so important, especially for a mother to feel sane, to feel strong, to have control of her life, to feel connected to her baby. It's very hard to do anything in life if you're not sleeping. Like even in, I think like the military, when they train them, they wake them up every 2 hours or they don't let them sleep for a certain amount of time, and it's literally torture. They put them through torture, and that's what us new moms go through when we're having our baby not sleep through the night. And they're not going to sleep through the night for the first couple of weeks. But after that, if you get them on track, they will sleep through the night. So the biggest thing that worked for me was something called eat, play, sleep. So your newborn baby isn't really going to be playing, but the pattern to get them to sleep is to first feed them, then let them be free and not be attached to you or any other attachments like a soother or a bottle or, breastfeeding. Just have them be awake even for 5 minutes if it's in the very beginning, and then have them go to sleep on their own. In the first couple of weeks, you're going to have to rock them, you're going to have to swaddle them. A swaddle is the best thing that you can get when you have a newborn. It's gonna help keep them feeling safe, how they felt in the womb, where they're in a tight space and they're not free to have their arms flowing around, because newborns are gonna be, having these reflexes and they could wake themselves up and just be fussy feeling too open. So they really like to be swaddled. So make sure you have a swaddle. A Velcro swaddle is the best kind. So have them eat, then be open and free, and then put them in the swaddle and get them ready to go to sleep again. If your baby doesn't like a swaddle, get the Merlins magic sleep suit. I had this with my second child and he absolutely loved it. It's kind of like a space suit or like a snowsuit, but it's approved to wear at night, and it helps them kind of feel safer and they can't lift their arms as easily. It keeps them more grounded, and it really helped my second child who didn't like the swaddle. You can start with rocking them. That's not a problem. Just make sure you're not feeding them to sleep. The easiest way to get your baby to go to sleep is to breastfeed them to sleep and slowly put them down, or feed them with a bottle and then slowly put them down, because they make themselves tired by eating. So you need to break that habit if you want your baby to sleep through the night. And it's gonna take a couple of tries to actually get your baby to learn this way of going to sleep. But if you start from the beginning, not feeding them to sleep, keeping them awake while they're eating, waking them up after they've eaten, and then letting them get tired and go back down to sleep, that is the best way to get them to sleep through the night. Because when the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, the baby won't be able to get itself back to sleep if the way that it gets to sleep is by feeding from your breast or feeding from a bottle. If the baby knows how to go to sleep by closing its eyes and being swaddled, then when it wakes up in the middle of the night and it's not hungry, it will know how to go back to sleep. So one of the big things that I noticed with all of my children is they all took a little bit longer than other people who were using eat, play, sleep to get to sleep. And I always wondered, okay, what am I doing wrong? They're so full. I'm doing eat, play, sleep. What is the problem? I've learned that my babies are stomach sleepers. All 3 of them fall asleep the best when they're on their stomachs. And this is something that, a lot of babies are most comfortable on their stomach, but it's not recommended to have your baby sleep on their stomach if they don't have any head control and if they can't flip themselves back over. So all of my babies started sleeping through the night when they were able to roll over on their own. If you have a feeling that your baby is a stomach sleeper, you're gonna have a harder time getting them to sleep through the night so early in life, and you're not allowed to put your baby down to sleep before they don't have any head control or they can roll over. So practice during your playtime, doing tummy time, and it's gonna be hard to see your baby lying on its stomach and unable to lift its head, but this will give them their strength to maybe earlier learn how to push up and or roll over. Another way to get your baby to sleep through the night is to make sure that you're not letting them nap after 4 or 5 p.m. I know there's lots of times where you're not really on a schedule and you end up putting your baby down for a nap at 5 because you're exhausted, and this will just delay bedtime and it will not help your baby sleep through the night. They have to be more tired, and put them to bed at 6. 6 o'clock is fine. Try and aim for 6 o'clock in the beginning and then 7 o'clock when they're a little bit older. Don't be keeping them up all day and putting them to bed at 10 p.m. because your baby will get overtired and won't be able to sleep through the night. Sleep begets sleep. This is a big one. You need to know that if you are not letting your baby get the rest and the cycles that it needs, it's going to be wired and overtired and so unable to get to sleep if it hasn't had enough sleep during the day. Make sure your baby is sleeping a lot during the day and the sleep will come at night. Another thing that really helped me was with my first child, I never had a routine. I didn't have the bath time, lotion, putting into pajamas, routine like that, and we just kind of were like all out of control. I couldn't figure out why my baby wasn't sleeping through the night. But with the next two, I started a strict routine of at say 5 or 6 p.m. starting the long feed, bath time, lotion, pajamas, swaddle, and my baby got to know this routine and to know that it's nighttime, because babies don't learn that this is daytime and I should be awake, or this is nighttime and I shouldn't be awake. You have to teach these things to your baby. So starting that nighttime routine, keeping things dark and quiet in your house at nighttime is a good idea, because it will get them to know that this is a different time. This is a time where I can go to sleep and it's not playtime, and it helps them decipher what to do. Another tip is to not change your baby's diaper in the middle of the night if they just have pee. With my first baby, I would literally wake him up over and over again in the middle of the night if I saw that the line was blue and there was a little bit of pee in there. I thought, okay, I can't leave that on there, and I'd wake him up and put a new diaper on, and he'd be wired and awake and be so confused of what time it was because I had to have a light on to be able to see what I'm doing. Just if there's no poo, just don't change their diaper unless they really peed a lot, because when your baby is older, when they're 1.5 and they have a diaper on and they're sleeping through the night, they're not going to wake up and get their diaper changed in the middle of the night. Don't do any crazy diaper changes in the middle of the night, because that will wake your baby up and they need to know that it's nighttime. So keep the lights low or even off, and feed them in the dark. Don't talk to them like you would in the daytime. Make sure you decipher daytime from nighttime so that your baby can learn when it's time to play and be awake and when it's time to stay asleep, and show them that nothing exciting is happening in the middle of the night and they're not missing out. Try out these tips. If they don't work right away, stick to them. You have to stick to routines for your baby. You have to be consistent so they know what to expect and so that they know that sleep is coming. And I hope you get some sleep soon. I promise you will.